Welcome to this week's video where we're going to talk about the 7 steps to choosing the right windows for your project. Whether it's a home you're building for yourself or remodeling, whether it's new construction, existing, whether it's a flip, whatever your situation is, this video is going to help guide you into choosing the right windows for your project.
So for those of you who have been following along, you know that we're new to this, so we learned a lot when we were picking out our windows. We're going to go over all that we learned, and we're going to go over the costs incurred to get to this point.
Let's jump to the first step of choosing the right windows for you. All right guys, step 1 to choosing the right windows is choosing the right material for you. There's 4 main materials out there: vinyl, aluminum, fiberglass, and wood. Let's talk about the pros and cons of each one. Vinyl is by far the most popular one. It is also the most cost effective, and it has great energy performance. So depending on where you are in the country, that might be very important to you. This is a great plus for you. The not so good things about it, it's not as aesthetically pleasing, and if you ever want to change the colors of it, it's very difficult to paint. The second type of windows is aluminum. Aluminums range from low-cost vinyl all the way to high-cost wood. It just depends on which manufacturer you're going with and the type of aluminum windows you're looking for. They are very, very aesthetically pleasing, at least for me. I love the way they look, they feel, but unfortunately, they don't have the best thermal energy performance. It's metal, it's aluminum, it's very high conductivity. When you do look at aluminum windows, one of the main things you want to make sure is that there's a thermal break between the exterior aluminum and the interior aluminum. This will help a little bit with your energy efficiency.
The third type of window is fiberglass windows, and these are made from about 40% wood fibers and 60% thermoplastic polymers. The pros of these types of windows is they are thermal rated, and we think they look nice. Some of the cons are it's really difficult to install. You can break it and chip it kind of while you're installing, which is not so good. The fourth type of window is wood windows. They have by far the best insulation rating. They are the ones that tend to last the longest, and they're easily paintable. So if you want to change the colors or anything, you can do that really easily with wood windows. The cons of wood windows is that they are expensive and they're very susceptible to pests such as termites that can damage your windows, and you're gonna have to replace them sooner than that long life expectancy.
Let's jump to step 2.
Step 2 is choosing the manufacturer of your windows. So as a homeowner, you can go to multiple window suppliers and see what type of windows they have. But since we're flipping this house, what we ended up doing is we went to open houses of similar properties to see what type of windows they put in. The main window manufacturers that we saw were Andersen, Milgard, Geldwen.
Why do you say it like that?
Geldwen. I don't know, something like that. So those are your options, or you can go to the big box stores like Home Depot, Lowe's, or HD Supply and get the windows from there.
We chose Milgard for multiple reasons. One of the main ones was lead time. With all these manufacturers, there was a lot of problems in the supply chains, and lead times were up to 3 to 4 months out. We needed our windows in at least 6 to 8 weeks, and Milgard gave us the 8-week time frame that we needed. Also, Milgard provides lifetime warranties. They've been around for a really, really long time, and the price point was very comparable to the other windows that we saw. So let's jump to step 3. Step 3 is choosing the product line, style, and the color of windows that you want. So when we chose Milgard, they had 5 lines. They had the builder grade, which is the lowest grade, Tuscany, Trinsic, Style Line, and Ultra. All these different lines have different features, different aesthetic appeals, different ways and forms that these windows come in, and they also have different colors.
We really wanted to put black windows all around our house. However, if we wanted to get black windows, Milgard told us it's going to be an extra month wait on our windows. So we couldn't afford to wait another month, so we ended up going with the white windows. What's really important to us is the style and look of our house, and we really wanted the front windows at least to be black. So I think we might be looking at painting them ourselves and making them black on the exterior so we get that nice look of the property that we want.
Let's jump to step 4.
Step 4 is knowing how you're going to install your windows. So do you have an existing house that you're replacing the windows for? Do you have a new construction house? Are you doing stucco or regular siding? These all change what type of windows you're going to get.
So for this house, we're having stucco on the exterior, and that plays into the fin size. The fin size is right here. So there's 2 different fin sizes that you can get on a new construction house. There's the 1-inch fin, which is for stucco. Stucco comes out to about 7/8. They feather it out from there. There's also the 1" 3/8, which is for siding. If you're overlaying 1" siding, you're gonna have that little bump out. Outside of that, you gotta figure out if you're ordering rough openings or exact openings. That's something that your installer is gonna have to decide before you actually order your windows, and it varies on a couple of things. It varies on the straightness of the walls, the plumbness, and all those features. If you're doing a new construction house, 9 times out of 10, you're gonna wanna get rough openings, and the manufacturer knows to give you 1/4 to 1/2 inch on each side wiggle room, so your installer can level and make sure your windows are plumb. Before we talk about level and plumb, I'm gonna talk about sealing the windows from the outside. So you wanna make sure that you have a sealant tape at least 6 inches that goes around the window. Your installer will put this in place for you. Our installer took the extra step of adding Sikaflex on all the joints on the interior to avoid any type of water leakage inside the house. So let's talk about plumb and straight, because those are 2 different things that we learned on this project.
Yeah, so what plumb means is you got to take a level and put it against your wall, window, whatever you're trying to get plumb. That's PLUMB. And make sure that the level shows that you are level with gravity. This window is currently plumb because it's perfectly level.
We check if it's plumb from the exterior. You can also do this from the interior. How do you check if your window is straight and level? Because that's a whole different thing.
Straight is totally different. So let's jump inside and let me show you what straight means. So we talked about the plumbness of the window, which is making sure it's not sitting too far this way or that way. Now we're going to talk about the straightness of it. We got to make sure it's not sitting too far this way or too far that way. So the way we do that is we take a straight edge like this level and we put it against the window, making sure there isn't a gap as best as we can, and we look at the level. We make sure that the bubbles are in the middle. That tells us the window is straight. The other thing you want to look at to make sure the window doesn't have like a bow in it. So you don't want a bigger gap in the middle versus the sides. That can happen with vinyl windows because they aren't as strong as aluminum or other types of windows, but that's all up to the installer to get right. Now let's jump into step 5 for picking out your windows.
Step 5, if you've gotten this far along in the video and you're that close to picking out your windows, give us a thumbs up, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell. And if we haven't answered any of your questions, wait till the end of the video and then drop down your comments down below. Step 5 is about energy efficiency. You gotta make sure that windows are energy efficient. As a homeowner, a developer, a flipper, whatever you may be, you gotta take this into account. Windows, especially when you want them this large and this big to create an open feel, you're gonna have a lot of energy loss. So you gotta mitigate that. What are the 2 factors that come into play when choosing the windows?
So there are 2 things that come up when you talk about window efficiency. That's the SHGC, the solar heat gain coefficient, and the U factor. Solar heat gain coefficient is how much the window can block the sun's radiation. So it can actually block out the sun, similar to how window tints kind of work. So the U factor is the rate of heat transfer. So how well the window insulates you from the outside weather. As far as SHGC, it can go as high as 0.3 and as low as 0.17.
What's better, low or high?
Lower is always better. U factor can go as high as 0.3 to as low as 0.23. And again, lower is better. The way these numbers are decided are different ways of manufacturing the windows. They can be double pane windows. They can have argon gas inside. They can have e-coating on the window. So these all affect the SHGC and the U factor of the windows.
With that said, we're almost there. You're almost done choosing the right windows for your house. So let's jump to step 6.
Now you got to pick out how you want your windows to operate. There are 5 main types of windows: casements,
Awnings,
hung,
slider.
picture. So casements. Casements are really good because it gives you a larger line of sight for a shorter window. They only make them up to 3 feet wide, at least Milgard. They don't make them bigger than 4 feet, but they're nice because you can open them up all the way and have a nice big open window.
Awnings are typically used in bathrooms and areas where you don't want to have full visual access to the room. Now, if our potential buyers want, they can tint this out, and this is how an awning basically opens up. Open up the sides and wheel it out. It gives you nice airflow access, so if you want some air to play, you can go ahead and do that.
So a hung window is hung from the top, so generally it opens this way. You can have what's called a double hung, where both the top part moves and the bottom part moves, but this is just a single hung. We have this in front of our kitchen sink, so you can open it up for airflow whenever you're washing the dishes.
Sliding windows have universal use. They're used more often than not. They're the most popular type of window. We have it in our dining and living room space. Opens up just like this and gives you free airflow, which feels great.
There's nice.
So picture windows based.
Sam, shut up. Picture windows are basically windows that don't open up. They just sit there, they look nice, and that's why we put them in the front of the property so that they look nice from the street.
I demand respect. You're at the final step, you're almost done. All you gotta do is get the best pricing. Now for best pricing, we found an easy step, at least for Milgard. There's a website called constructionwindows.com and they let you price out your windows for Milgard right there on their website. You go through it step by step and can price it out. Once you price it out, you print that out, you run around to the window stores around your neighborhood and you give them that quote and say, beat it. That's what we did. We ended up saving an extra 10% off of that quote. When we had originally went to stores and got quotes, they were 20% above that. So in total, we saved about 30% on our windows. And Eddie, why don't you tell them how much this house cost us in terms of windows and pocket doors?
Yeah, so we had 13 total windows that we bought, and that was $5,399. Our 2 pocket doors that we have, the 12-foot one cost us $5,304. The 8-foot one cost us $3,536. Grand total for all the windows and pocket doors with delivery plus tax and all that was $15,841.71. Then we had to pay someone to come install those windows. The installation with the windows and the leveling of the reveals, the area around the windows, was $2,260. The installation of our pocket doors was $2,000. But we also had to pay an additional $700 to put some sheet metal underneath the pocket doors for waterproofing purposes.
That wraps it up for this week's video. Everybody new that joined this week to figure out how to pick the right windows for your house. Welcome to the team. Subscribe, hit that notification bell. And for everyone else, keep along. Look at that big number that continuously increases every step of the way. And we'll see you guys in next week's video.